Hello, 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 hello. Are you guys Seinfeld fans? Hello, Jerry. Right. It's so weird too. I was just rereading about when he was like in his 30s dating that teenager. Now that's like, ew, but when it was happening, it was like very normalized. Anyway, is it different when he's rich, ladies? I don't know. I can't remember what she ended up doing. If she was like, I thought she was maybe in fashion design or something, kind of like Yee's Yee's current squeeze. I can't remember what her last name is. Anyway. So today I'm gonna do this creating heaven on earth deck. It is affirmations. It's really cold here, so like any little sound, like you can hear it. All right, creating heaven on earth affirmation deck. Begin by centering yourself and setting an intention. Trust your soul to guide you to the card that is most aligned with your heart and embrace its message of deep soul connection and divine grace. Okay, so you can see that. Yeah, see, this is what it's like. There we go, like that. Next, please. No, no, you need to settle down. Yeah, I know you guys have been stuck inside. It's cold. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Uh-huh. No, no, we're not doing that right now. Hey, stop. Oh, what's wrong? Anyway, yeah, the creating heaven on earth too. You can see I'm sitting here with a blanket over me because and I have a long sleeve and then I have this sweater that's hey, hey, take a damn match. And maybe somebody pulled up outside. It is a holiday today here in the US, so people might be doing some different things, although it's very, very chilly. Very chilly. And it's not the day you want to be just yapping with your neighbors outside. Okay, it's not. Too cold. It was too cold for that. Wait till the next couple days. You'll be fine. You'll be a lot better. Sometimes I think as soon as you get out, there's just, you know what I mean? It's kind of like when you wake up, some people like to exercise, right? Like, yeah, yeah. Some people need that morning coffee, and some people need that morning bong rip, what, right? Whatever it is for you. Okay. And don't judge people that use cannabis because trust me, caffeine can be very damaging to the body as well. There's people that have literally died from consuming too much caffeine. But consuming too much cannabis, your brain just gets dumb. Okay. Is what happens. And then, you take a nap and you wake up and you're fine. Right? Whatever. Right. Some people, they always, it really kind of shows up in movies and stuff a lot. And I was kind of thinking about this too, especially in my younger years, because it's like you don't want people to think you're like intoxicated, so they'll try and take advantage of you, right? Um, but you also don't want them to think you're having such a good time that you'll just go along with anything, right? So, I know some people don't consume alcohol and things of that nature out there, but I think the experimentation within, some moderation, that's why there's actual recommendations on things, you know. So anyway, the monks brew beer. It's made by monks. You drink wine at church on Sundays. That little bitty cup ain't y'all know. You don't feel all buzzed and ripped after that, do you? No, you don't. Okay, so somebody that has a couple glasses of wine, you know what I mean? But somebody that has a couple glasses of wine and then you ask them to go run a race or something, yeah, it might be a little tedious, right? So, seeing how your body's going to react to things, I think is very important if you choose to partake in those things that are legal and available to you, right? Overseas, the drinking age is more like 18, 19, like whatever. And you guys all know the story about me complaining at Walgreens because they made the manager come up to scan my ID and I for an $8 bottle of wine. And I told the kid behind the counter, I'm like, there's little kids that drink this for breakfast in Italy. Like, and we're only talking about $8 worth of merchandise here. I mean, I see people walk out of Walgreens with their pants stuffed, but yet I got to be treated like the fucking criminal. Like I just saw in one of our pages, our local pages, somebody got busted for felony theft, I guess, because I guess what they were doing is they were watching this person, and then when they hit a certain amount, they prosecute them, which, okay, well, I guess how they were doing it was at the self-checkout. Here's the problem I have. Here's the problem I have. If there was an actual cashier there, would that person have been able to steal that $5,000 worth of merchandise? You know? And you'd have somebody else employed, contributing to society. I'm just saying. To me, it was like, I guess good for them for prosecuting, but like if they had just ponied up the, $15 an hour of their multi-million dollar, billion-dollar corporation, you know, just like at Walgreens, there used to be a little checkout stand right where the guy had his pants full of merchandise in the makeup aisle. Because it's like, I'm sorry, what is a bald, dark-skinned man doing standing? And he was not queer. Okay, so save yourself that. What is he doing standing there in the makeup aisle with his pants all looking all? Then he just walked right out the front door. It's like, okay. Mhm. To me, the cashier is partly the deterrent, right? For the theft. I mean, I don't know. It's a different world than the world I grew up in. Yeah, they had security cameras at some of these stores and stuff. And I mean, it used to be a big deal. Like, if you got caught shoplifting, like you could be banned from the store for life. And if you lived in a small town or something, and that's the store that you're supposed to get all your stuff at, you know what I mean? That's like a big deal, right? I mean, they took shoplifting very seriously. because the thing is, the cost is passed on to the consumer, right? But it's like they have these self-checkout lanes now. It's like, you know what I mean? It makes me feel empathy for the criminal in a way, because it's like if that company had not been so fucking cheap to begin with, maybe they wouldn't have that fucking problem with people stealing from them. But they wanted to be cheap, so guess what? Somebody else is going to be cheap in response and try and scam you. Some people are petty like that. That's why they call it petty theft, except it wasn't petty theft. It was like $300 items, $500 items that she wasn't scanning, I guess. And, just like, I guess throwing it in the bag or whatever. But that's all on video. I mean, these days, like you go in, especially the self scanners. I mean, you can watch yourself on video. That's why I'm just like amazed that people even try that. But again, hire a cashier. That ain't gonna happen. She ain't gonna be stealing. She's gonna have to try and shove it, you know what I mean? Other places if she wants to get away with it. And a lot of people, they're so lazy, they're just not gonna do that, are they? They're gonna give up. So again, a deterrent. I'm just yeah. That's just my rant for the day. I know this is the no wonder why I need this affirmation deck today. And just like the people that stole the TV off my front porch, they were driving a Jeep newer than mine. Because the lady that they arrested for this, trust me, she didn't look homeless. No, she did not. I mean, and that was not a bottle job on her hair. She went to the salon for that. I can guarantee you. And some of that hair might be extensions too. I'm just saying. So this woman is spending some money other places. Hmm. So I'm not trying to say I feel, like whatever, encourage people acting that way. Okay, but I'm just saying, if the store wasn't so fucking cheap to begin with, maybe they wouldn't be having that problem, you know. And then we could stop hollering at all these people that can't find jobs when the shit's getting fucking replaced in front of our very fucking eyes, right? Out there in the street. All these stupid cashier jobs, all the stocking jobs, theft prevention jobs, theft loss job, loss prevention jobs. People used to be in place for all that stuff. Not machines and security cameras. Today is a new beginning. I rise with the light, unbound by the past, embracing this moment with courage, wonder, and grace. Nice. Yeah, this is the Creating Heaven on Earth affirmation deck. Okay, so a little bit different. Uh, kind of read for you guys today. All right. Because some people are like, oh, well, you don't know what, blah, blah, blah. This, she wasn't stealing a package of chicken thighs, okay? She don't. This is someone who felt entitled to a certain lifestyle. Or else she's the runner for some other people too. You know what I'm saying? For resale, right? Send in the dye-haired woman, right? She'll gather up all the stuff for us. Nobody will suspect her. Kind of like a drug mule, you know what I mean? That's why I know there's a lot of people that get upset about these raids that are going on now and stuff, but I mean, nobody suspected the BTK guy either until they found out. Just saying. Just saying. You know? And oh, well, how would you apprehend that guy? Right? You give him a big warning? No. That's why I don't understand why these people that are protesting against certain operations, it's like, we can see your response to even wanting to talk with LEOs. So, how do you think an apprehension would go? Yeah, can you just mail it to me in the mail and I'll show up tomorrow? Come on, really? You know? Anyway, so I wonder, like, what reality some folks are living in. It's like, what was that show, Car 54? Where are you, or something like that? Yeah, this is what I'm saying. These people need like Hill Street Blues and shit like that. Crime Story. People need to watch some of this old shit. And then they wonder why, so and so that's been to rehab 17 times still goes and offs their fucking parents. Menendez style. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I just don't know. Because he was getting away with it and nobody told him, fuck off. No. That's why. That's why. Because they can get away with it. My dog, oh, here you go. You know what I mean? The same. So people that get away with stuff, you think they're going to go and admit something that they did wrong? Wow, you must be green behind the ears, right? Do you see the scammers walking around saying, oh, please, please? It's not until they're really in trouble, like that guy from Venezuela. It was like, please, United States, please take us because we're in over our heads down here. Yeah, that's what happened down there. That guy was just trying to save his ass because he knew it was going to be Enzo for him. If he's tried to stick it out down there, he was losing control. You know, he saw the U.S. military come in. He acted like it was, Liberation Day in World War II. Okay? That dude wasn't crying about it. He was not crying about it. He will gladly spend the rest of his life in jail in the United States. What do you think the jail conditions are like down in Venezuela? I can tell you. It wouldn't be as ideal for him. You know? Some folks really need to start reading some books or something. And thing is, you can read nonfiction. When they say the truth is stranger than fiction, it really is. I choose joy on purpose, not because life is perfect, which we all know, as I'm ranting and raving about over here. Not because life is perfect, but because my soul is ready to shine. Yeah, I just got that Queen song. Don't stop me now, I'm having such a good time. Ba-da-da-da. Okay? La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Do 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 do. Don't stop me I'm having such a good time. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, right? Who slept in today because they didn't have to work today? Maybe you have the day off of work or school, right? Um, that doesn't mean you can't participate in the local economy, though. Maybe go out and see a movie or something, right? All sorts of things that you can do with free time. Okay. Let's get another one of these here. With every breath, I welcome heaven into my body, into my mind, and my soul. I am a living temple of peace, beauty, and divine light. Isn't that? So I will reread that here where you guys can see it. Yeah. With every breath, I welcome heaven into my body, into my mind, and into my soul. I am a living temple of peace, beauty, and divine light. You guys like this setup better? See, when I use this particular camera, and actually, at least yeah, it's the other right here. I noticed because I went back and watched the one video that I shot using this webcam thing. It's a USB one. Anyway, you just plug it into the USB port in your computer, and like when I hit my YouTube live, I was able to click preview, and it's it's like, oh, you want to use this camera? Yeah. The thing is, this actually has a microphone in it as well, and I found that the sound was quite better than on my mobile device for recording. So, I think I'm gonna try and use this setup more frequently. Okay. So in the past, you guys may have had some volume issues with some of the videos, but just so you know, this one in particular, I am using a webcam that has a built-in audio. Okay, yeah, microphone. So I don't even think it was that. I mean, it's something I picked up like at Best Buy or something. And say, sir, is there even any Circuit City still around? Remember Circuit City? I do. I remember Radio Shack. I think we still have some. Is there a Radio Shack still? And I look past illusion and into truth. I honor the radiance within each heart. My love awakens divine remembrance wherever it is needed. You can see here the two people joining hands. So it says, my love awakens divine remembrance wherever it is needed. And in the States, it is MLK Jr. Remembrance Day. So, if you are remembering somebody who you have lost, right? Think about this. Okay, so it says here, I look past illusion and into truth, because the hope is to be reunited again, right? So looking past the illusion of separation and knowing that that doesn't have to be permanent. Okay. But in divine timing, right? Those things that we remember, we're going to be rejoined again when our time has come, right? We pray, right? If you're wondering if somebody's going to put in a good word for you, well, you just go ahead and do it yourself. It's okay to pray for yourself. when these politicians go to the poll, who do you think they vote for in there? They ain't voting for the other guy. They're voting for themselves. I choose thoughts that empower. I remember the divine creator within me. I am free to dream, to create, to shine. I choose thoughts that empower. I remember the divine creator within me. I am free to dream. I am free to create. I am free to shine. What was the speech? I have a dream speech, right? Let freedom ring. Oh my gosh, the other night on PBS, they were replaying, it was this like an MLK, memorial, um, type thing, but it was from several years ago when Aretha Franklin was still alive, and she was singing this very nice, kind of gospel-esque song at the podium, and it was very powerful. And then there were some other, folks. It was kind of like a mishmash of clips. I don't know if they were all at the same, event, but it was very nice, right? Um, to create with your voice, to create with your mind, right? What's in that little brain of yours? Okay. All right. Yes. When I soften the noise of the world, I hear the clarity of truth within. Revelation arises of divine trust. Okay. So trusting in the divine. How many times have you looked at a reading and they're like, yeah, trust divine timing? It's like that's what you want to hear. But sometimes that's the advice needed. There were times I went, to a counselor and I was like, ugh, she's like, I don't want to think about this anymore. I just want to be over this. And I'm like, what is the deal? She's like, time. Just a very time. Just give it to me. And I'm like, no, I want it done now. you know? And I feel like there are techniques and things that you can do to help you, especially if you are suffering with ill effects from overthought, right, on your situation, right? Or any emotional traumas that you might be holding. The famous book, The Body Keeps the Score. Okay. The little trick I learn is through tapping. Um, this area here is a good starting point. There's other things and sequences you can do, right? Get under here, and it helps promote lymphatic drainage, right? It also helps bring you into the present moment and reset your body. Okay, so that you don't have to be caught up in performing, okay, something that you don't need to be doing, to be honest, right? Um, you know, so that's when it says here, when I soften, okay, it's not saying it goes away completely. It's still out there, right? Again, with the Seinfeld reference, it's already out there. It's already out there. Oh my god, that was talk about the 90s. Again, before everybody documented every single everything, right? It's like, "Oh my god, it's already out there." It's like, "Stop worrying about it." So what? It's out there. Okay. How does that change how you're gonna brush your teeth? Does it? I don't think so. Okay. And your dentist and hygienist will thank you. I just came back cavity free again. La, la, for me. Um, I did have good dental care when I was a kid, but and when you're an adult, it's like that's important. Keep up on all that stuff, right? I hear the clarity of truth within, revelation arises. Light becomes my guide. Every step becomes a sacred dance of divine trust. Okay. Step by step, ooh, baby, gonna get to you, girl. Right? Yes, I had a new kid shirt. I did. My mother got it for me, I believe, at JCPenney's. We went and picked one out. It's like that was one of the things that it's like that might be the first band shirt I ever wore was a new kid shirt, to be honest. Where do you wear? At KTOB. So, think about that. Like what did you do when you were younger? Maybe you used to dance, maybe you used to listen to pop music like new kids, maybe, you know what I mean? Give yourself the opportunity to tap into that, right? As an adult. What if you had to teach somebody how to do those things? How would you go about it, right? And think about it, the creating heaven on earth, right? Because we're not saying we want you to be ill prepared, right? Absolutely not. And that's just the thing with some folks that are out there and have good intentions, but they might be very ill prepared for the circumstances. Okay. So understand who you're trusting in these situations. And, maybe the person you need to trust is yourself because you've survived this long with, you know, help from the universe, right? But aside from that, sometimes not much, right? Sometimes it's just kind of like you pull back the slingshot and then you let it go, right? And then it's out there, right? Hmm. I actually have some. If you go under the videos tabs, there's a step one, there's a step two. I've hit on this particular song before. It must be one of their hits that I struck a chord, I guess. Anyway, get it, struck a chord. Yeah. You guys, sometimes I have too much fun doing this. Don't take away my sunshine. By being fully present, I offer my loved ones my complete attention with an open and loving heart. Okay. Okay. Right. Some people will be like, I can't be fully present without my coffee. Okay, exactly. You get your coffee, you get your moment of zen, right? Because some people are like, I don't fucking meditate. I need coffee. You know? Then go do that thing. And then you come back and it's like, okay, now we can get on with this guy. Can't. Get up off of that thing. Okay? Make you feel better. Is this going on right now? This all maybe they're just going over it. This all-star game for basketball, or they're just talking about who the players are. I do not know really any of the players anymore for basketball. So they're saying the all-star game is going to be in LA. Hollywood. Come on, tempo! Woo! I'm glad I don't have to read that jazz sheet music, right? No wonder why them people are all certain way, you know what I mean? Because, yeah, some people had to work for certain things, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So then you know when you show up on their front yard, some folks might be taking the stand your ground approach. I'm personally wondering about that in Minnesota if they have stand your ground law like they do in Florida, because I'm kind of curious how that works with in combination with LEO. I would think procedurally something is different there for places that have stand your ground versus not. I mean, I don't see a bunch of Florida retirees rushing to the front door. You know what I mean? If they even hear anybody out of that goddamn door. I mean, how do you know there's not some little lady sitting there in her recliner with her little pistol on the side next to her remote control, so if somebody pops into her trailer, she's gonna be like, "Excuse me, sir, you're in my house. That means you better leave." You know what I mean? Because officers of the law are required to identify themselves, you know. Which I actually had somebody do that once because I report it was a report that I had made about some suspicious mail that I was starting to receive at my house with names I had never seen before. And I'm like, is somebody trying to use my address to scam? Right. So I called it was a different city department, but then it's like the person that showed up, it's like, well, I hope this is legit, right? So I was like, hey, um can you validate for me that you are who you say you are before I give you this information? Right? You know what I mean? So, so they used to, I mean, that used to be a thing too, the fake police, right? They used to sell those, the red things. And in the old movies that are in TV shows, that's how the undercover guys did it, right? They would just pop that little red light on their roof and all of a sudden they're in pursuit. These days, you could 3D print a badge. You could do all sorts of things. the officers are required to give you their badge number and name, I believe, so that you can verify what's happening. But anyway, it's an interesting world out there. I am sure the people in the legal profession have been following very closely, watching these situations, because it is a test, right, of the limits of the law and what we are able and not able to do in order to both preserve and defend ourselves. um, but the history of our country is that we have had to defend it in many ways, right, so that we can persevere and continue forward and live with a certain moral code that doesn't involve stealing felonious amounts of merchandise from stores, right? But it's also one where we can have jobs at those stores, right? You know, not everyone can be the rich store owner. Some people have to work at the store. It's not really fair if nobody gets to work at the store, right? What were those old mining towns, where they had the store, the company store, and people essentially would just be given their whole paycheck over this company store? Some of the dirtiest jobs probably ever in America, right? Aside from building a railroad. Essential. I mean, talk about, and they want to talk about the essential employees. That's been essential, right, for our survival, that industry so far. It's interesting to think about in our history, because we need to start thinking about our entire history, right? Because if you don't, you're going to become the blip, right? Hmm. As if we aren't already. Anyway, all right. I will chat with you guys later. It looks like it's pretty slow today in the chat, so maybe folks are doing their volunteerism today or enjoying the day off, as many have it off in the US. So we'll leave it there. Go ahead and give a thumbs up, though. Remember, you do not have to be a subscriber in order to thumbs up the video. All right. But if you choose to become a subscriber, you can, and hit the notification bell. Then you will be notified on your device or via email, I believe, anytime there is a new video either going live or updated. Okay. It also guarantees that it will be in your feed as you use the app. Okay, or in your suggestions if you're on your laptop device. Okay. But use your own discernment, especially when watching videos like this. All right. Um, you know, especially stay away from the ones that are like, oh, this is your lucky number and blah blah. You gotta go play the lottery today. I don't I don't do that. I don't do that stuff. Some people have giftings, okay, and they use them for certain purposes, and that's why they get to continue to use their giftings. because they're not using them for selfish purposes. Okay. So take that into your consideration as you move forward through 2026 using your gifts, right? And remember that they are your gifts to use, not someone else's gifts to exploit. Okay. Dog snoring. They're so cute. Alrighty, I will chat with you guys soon. Until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.